We'll proceed with our meeting. Thank you. Hi, good evening. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm City Councilwoman Sandra Ong. I represent District 20, which is mainly covering Flushing and the area we are here today. I'm just here to welcome the new CEC members. I want to congratulate President Yu. Of course, a big congratulations to Superintendent Dantano. And also, you know, we have so many wonderful events planned ahead. I heard there's going to be a nice Halloween. Nice Halloween treat for our kids at Casino Park. We came together to do one over the summer, the back of the school supplies, and that was a huge hit. And that was really due to the collaboration of everybody here. So I want to say a big thank you. And as usual, to all the public out there, if there's any questions or concerns, anything that affects your children, parents, please feel free to reach out to our office. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Ms. Ong. Okay. Should we wait 2 more minutes for? Oh, hold on. Jocelyn? Very exciting. We have our student member, Jocelyn Chen. We will ask her to introduce herself in a few minutes. It's 7:03. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I am now calling the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Carly, let's do the roll call.
When you
Present.
Harun Rashid should be on his way. Frank Chow be on his way. Joseph Chow should be on his way. Sun Young Lee. Present. Alvin Hung.
Present.
Eden Rubenstein.
Present.
And Robert Lazar.
Present. Thank you.
I think
And
Jocelyn, yes.
Okay.
In front of you in your packet, you should have the August minutes. Please take 2 minutes to review it. Probably Joseph Chow's here.
Okay.
We're reviewing the minutes, the August minutes. It's in your packet.
Sorry,
It's okay.
we were talking downstairs. Room's here too.
What happened to you? I do love you.
Meeting started. Hey, Wendy, oh, hi.
The meeting just started. Please take your seat. So we're waiting for Frank Chow. Is everyone in agreement of the August minute? Yes. We don't have to vote on the minute. Yeah.
No, it's not working. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The August minutes approved? Okay. So, welcome back to families and parents for another great school year ahead of us. Hope everyone had a great first day of school.
there's a lot of work to be done and tackled this year, as our district adopted a new reading curriculum. We're excited and hope to see great results this year. State exam from spring came out today. To check your child's result, please log into your NYC schools account. The website is schoolsaccount.nyc. Right before school starts, on August 30th, the district, along with Councilwoman Sandra Ng, had a public event, Reads in the Park, book giveaway, and it was a great event. We had a great turnout. Some of the members, Shirley, Eden, Rob, and I, we came out to the event. Thank you for your participation, and we look forward to collaborating with the district, with Sandra Ng's office in future events. Supposedly, School Construction Agency, SCA, was supposed to come tonight to give their presentation of various expansion and remedial projects in District 25, but unfortunately, SCA Representative Benjamin Goodman had to cancel. He feels that we should have our district planning presentation before SCA gives their presentation. So now the district planning presentation will take place at our November meeting, November 1st. So we look forward to that, and hopefully SCA will come in December. With that said, I have inquired with Mr. Goodman about status on projects taking place at PS 79, 107, 130, IS 25, PS 21, and Junior High School 194. I hope to hear from him soon. If there's a construction project at your school that I didn't mention and you want to know what's going on, what's the status, when is the expected completion date, please reach out to me and I will contact Mr. Goodman, or you can contact Mr. Goodman himself. His email is egoodman@nycsca.org. He did advise that there will be a new project at Junior High School 189. This is a exterior modernization project to repair the exterior masonry and roof, and to eliminate flood and parapet replacement. Due to the nature of the work, the work activity will take place after school hours. So it will be from Monday to Friday, 3 to 11, weekends and school holidays, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Our next meeting is on October 4th. We will have someone from the district to give a special need education presentation. The presentation topic will be discussed at our business meeting, but we believe it will likely be the process. The discussion will be the process of when a child needs special education services, from how to request or apply for these services, assessment, evaluation, and placement of the child. We will have more information in October. So that's my president's report. I will hand the mic over to our new interim superintendent, Mike Dantona.
Oh, Miss Ketchum, I love it. I love that you're back there right now. It's awesome. Good evening, everyone, CEC. Let me just first start off by saying I'm incredibly honored to have the opportunity to serve as the interim acting superintendent for District 25. My opinion, there is no better district in the city to have an opportunity to work in and work for the kids, the families, and the staff in District 25. So let me just first get off by starting in that way. I'd also like to acknowledge who's now Chief Domingo for all that she has done for District 25 over the course of her career, whether that was as a teacher, assistant principal, or superintendent for the what I think was probably at this point, one of the longest tenured superintendents in New York City. And with that 13 years came a wealth of experience and knowledge that she's going to now be able to spread throughout the city in a much deeper way for a lot more schools, kids, and districts. So great shout out to Superintendent, or slash, excuse me, Chief Domingo for all that she has done on behalf of the community. So I have a few things that I do want to speak to the community about tonight. Louis, there you go. Thanks, Louis. And I do want to start off with just the welcome back to school. We are fortunate. We've had a really, really great opening of the school year. This now being day 5 of the year, we've gotten off to a really great start. Kids are in classes, kids are learning, and we've had very few circumstances that cause any kind of angst in any way. So off to a great start. Here are some images just from the beginning of the school year. You can see those smiling faces, some of which you can find my face in there somewhere with that shiny head of mine. But we've gotten off to a really great start. Our kids have been excited about entering the start of the school year with the goal of, and you'll see in lots of our slides and lots of our work this year, is in a space from those strong roots, strong schools, to a space of really getting stronger. That mindset of building upon where it is that we were to really build upon our work this school year in a much deeper way. So that's what the intent is. I know we've shared this already, just the work that we have done with District 25 Reads in the Park. Big shout out to Councilmember Ung, the CEC, for the work that we did together to organize this particular event. There was at least 1,000 students and families there, over 5,000 books that were distributed. I'd also like to say thank you to the team. Our team was all there. They've spent days, weeks organizing those books to make sure that they were together and organized by a grade level so that our community can really benefit from that. So it turned out to be a great event. And what it's allowed us to do is really think about future events for our district community, where families can come out, enjoy one another, enjoy opportunities to really focus on something that's super important, and that's reading. So as many opportunities as we have to really promote the excitement around reading books, we're going to try to do that this school year. So this is just one example of hopefully many that we're able to do as the year goes on. I do want to also make sure that we acknowledge National Hispanic Heritage Month. During the next CEC meeting, we'll be sure to bring some examples of what's going on in our schools to celebrate this important month in the school year. So you'll see more on that during our next CEC meeting. I'll be happy to share that. Just a quick enrollment update for any of our families. Please make sure that you check in with your zone school. You can go directly to your zone school for enrollment. Your schools will be ready for you to register. If you're unsure as to what that zone school is for you, there is a search application right on the Department of Education site. So anyone who's unsure of what that is, you can use the link that's within this particular presentation to help you get an understanding of where your child should be registering for school. If for some reason you're unable to do so, the Family Welcome Centers are always available to support our families within the community. And that Family Welcome Center is located here at Linden Place. So I encourage you guys, for anyone that's here, any families that are looking to really get access to our schools, that there's information that's accessible to them, including contacting us at the district office if they need any additional assistance. There's an email address there as well for the Family Welcome Center, so our families can be directed to that, as well as calling the phone number on the screen. So please feel free to reach out in the event that you need anything in regards to enrollment. So we will remain consistent with our district vision of strong roots, strong schools, for many roots growing as one community. As we go through the year, I'm most definitely going to be asking for feedback from our community in terms of what does this really mean to you, and how do we make sure that we're realizing the expectations of this vision across our district. It's really rooted in the idea of building strong foundations for our kids so they have opportunities for success moving forward from elementary school to middle school, high school, and beyond. So we're going to continue to connect with this so that we're all working towards living this vision, not only here at the district office, but certainly around our schools in alignment with their vision that they have for their own buildings. Louis, we can go beyond the mission statement at this point. So I do want to make sure that everyone knows who our team members are. Our team members consistently we have grown. We do have a few new members to our team, which we're really excited about. All of this information can be found on our district website, and Louis will not only show you there. Thank you, Louis. A little Vanna White action. We'll also share it in the chat for any of our community members that are online to have access to that link, so you can see a little bit more in depth. I'm not going to read to you what each of our members are responsible for at this time, but it is all accessible to you so that you can see what it is that we currently offer in the district. We have several instructional leads that are connected to reading, connected to social studies, mathematics, academic intervention, supports for English language learners, supports for our special education department, supports for our schools in terms of programming and accessing data. So we have a really robust team. We have a student services group that focuses on social emotional needs of our children, as well as the mental health supports for our kids as well. We have a district attendance coordinator. We have family leadership supports that you guys at this time likely do know. Esther and Jenny, they are our family support folks for the district. All of this is accessible to you on our district site. You can always ask us more about that by contacting us at the district office. So this year, much like last year, we're going to engage in the Listening to Learn tour. The focus of this Listening to Learn tour is to do exactly that, for me to have an opportunity to connect with kids, to connect with parents, to connect with teachers, to connect with our administrators around the things that we're doing well in District 25, the things that we might need to continue to work on and strengthen, and also just advice for me as a new interim acting superintendent, things that you think I should just keep in mind to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do on behalf of our students and families in this community. So the Listening and Learning tour is going to take place in a number of different locations. You'll see the website that's listed there, www.d25.nyc/event. In that particular page, you will notice a series of locations where I will be across our district over the next month, and during which time I'll be inviting the community from each of those areas and across our district, inviting folks to come in, have chat with me, and talk about the things that are important to you inside of your schools and inside of the district. Go ahead, Louis. So the sites that we will be working towards in this on this Listening and Listen to Learn tour is PS 20, PS 129, PS 164, PS 184, JHS 185, and PS 214. These are the sites that we will be located at. And when you go to the site that's at the bottom, you'll see the specific dates with dates and times with which I will be at those sites to gather some feedback from the community. And what they're going to be hearing is what I'm going to review with you today, which is the list of our priorities as a district, the things that we're going to be really targeting and focused on this school year, to gather some of that feedback, as I mentioned, from all of you regarding next steps. So last year, one of the components of the 90-day plan, and this 90-day plan will be something that I distribute to all of our community. I will make sure that it is posted up on our district site. The context of this plan is going to be, a deepening of where we were last year with this idea of excellence, equity and diversity, wellness and safety, engagement and empowerment through the lens of multi-tiered systems of support, aligned professional learning, shared inclusive curriculum, and partnering with the community. And the partnering with the community component is something that I do look forward to connecting with our CEC, President's Council, and families across District 25, because I do feel like it's an opportunity for us to really tap into what our communities really want and need. And what I saw inside of the New York City Reads event was that if we have opportunities for our families to get out there with their children, they're going to get out there with their children. So how can we create those spaces for our families to do that across District 25? Not only just inside of our schools. We know that our schools offer activities and events for our families, but we do want to make sure that there's that clear message and set of expectations from our district as well. So starting off stronger, as I mentioned, is my theme, and please follow all of the Bitmojis that Lewis has been creating for me. You're going to find all different kinds of them as the year goes on, and you'll see me placed in different places on the tree as well as the year is going on. So please make sure you keep track of that as we're going through. He even went a little bit as so far as to add the glasses. Last year I did not have the glasses on, so this year he has added the eyeglasses to to the Dr. Mike Bitmoji. So thank you for that, Lewis. So starting off stronger really is around this next slide that we focused on quite a bit last year, and really all of that is saying in a nutshell, and I don't necessarily need to read this all to you. But basically, in a nutshell, it's around a cycle of learning, and that everyone across our school is consistently thinking about what is it we need to do to improve upon where we were the day before. So when we're looking at our kids in classrooms, when we're looking at our kids from the leadership lens, and when we're looking at kids from the district lens, what have we done? What do we do today that we can possibly adjust to support the needs of our kids tomorrow? So it's a lot of really looking at and reflecting on the work that we're doing as a district so that we're responding with really strategic action. So this whole idea of stronger is really those last two spaces, the E and the R, around evaluating and studying and responding with action. Those are two really important components. Last year was built around strong. Absent those last two, we really want to get very strategic around how we're really studying what we're doing so that we can make really good choices for our kids. So district-based supports, things that we're going to be organizing and supporting across our schools. Grades K through 3 will continue to build on that focus around learning to read. Hegarty and Foundations being the two programs that we attend to in our early childhood classrooms, where we're building phonemic awareness and phonics for our children. We will continue to provide professional learning through Letters. Letters is an organization that supports work around the science of reading. We'll have a particular focus this year around vocabulary, as it is the next level and the next module within our professional learning series. We're going to continue to work through MTSS, and those are the really strong instruction inside of our classrooms, but then also recognizing if children need some additional intervention inside of tier 2 and 3, which may be in small group learning experiences for our kids. We will also be working on and implementing a program known as Mind Up. I'm not sure how many of you are fully aware of what Mind Up is, but it is a social emotional learning program. And it's really designed to ensure that our kids have the opportunity to learn how to really manage their emotions, their behaviors, making responsible decisions. So it's all kind of embedded in the CASEL framework around the social emotional learning skills that our kids need in order to be successful youngsters into hopefully very successful young adults and so on. So that is something that all of our schools are going to be implementing. Many of our schools have already engaged in the kickoff and they've already started this process. Others will be doing that in the very near future with the Mind Up organization. For grades 3 through 5, and as well as 6 to 8, implementation, and as well as K to 3, excuse me, implementation of HMH is our reading curriculum across our grades. K through 5 is the Into Reading program. 6 through 8 is the Into Literature program. All of our kids across District 25 will be engaging in this work this year. It's going to be supported from our district team as well as professional supports from other organizations as we go through the school year. Focus here is really around unpacking what's going on inside of our curriculum to support a really robust implementation across our buildings. We will also be building in opportunities for engaging in math work, really focused on this access to Regents readiness, really defining what does Regents readiness mean for us as a district community, so that our kids are ready to go by the time they get into 8th grade. It's not that we're just offering Regents to our kids, but that our kids are ready for the Regents when they get into the 8th grade. So there's going to be a big focus on that. as a district. And grades 6 to 8, very similar to grades 3 through 5 in the sense that we're going to really be promoting this reading to learn expectation, focus on close reading of complex text, connections to literacy in the content area, specifically inside of informational text, is the direction that we're heading for this school year. So just to go through our 5 priorities, this is something that we did go through with our district leadership team. We've organized a series of goals this year. The district leadership team is responsible for organizing a series of goals that we're looking to get accomplished for the 23-24 school year. And many of those are going to be around really promoting expectations around New York City Reads, and how we get our children in a space where they are really proficient in this space. So I'm not sure if we can just, Carly, can you move down that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Over to the, yeah, perfect. So what we're really going to be emphasizing across our classrooms, especially as we implement the HMH curriculum, is really around being very explicit in our instruction, making sure that our kids are very clear on what the learning objectives are and how we're going to be getting our kids into that space. Real emphasis on the foundational skills, as I mentioned, inside of early childhood in particular. But we do have children, even in our middle school grades, that still do need some of those basic skills, in large part because they may very well be English language learners that haven't received the exposure in some of those basic skills early on. So we do need, while this is an early childhood mindset around phonics and phonemic awareness, some of our children in the upper grades do need us to pay attention to that as well. So we are going to be paying attention to that across grades. It is a primary focus in our early childhood classrooms, though. Small group instruction, something that we are going to be being really attentive to as we're looking at data from our assessments to make sure that our kids are receiving what they need from lesson to lesson. Content-rich work, focus on vocabulary, and deepening of knowledge. So priority 1, these are all aligned with the Chancellor's expectations. The first priority is that all children learn to read well. Inside of our goal, you will notice that there is an expectation that at minimum, we're going to grow by 5% from where we were last year. During the October meeting, I will share all of our data in a State of the District address, provided that we are able to do so, and provided that the CEC is okay with me doing that. We'll share all of the information with you around where the current state of our district. And I will remind everyone where we ended the year for K-2. As you know, K-2 does not take a state exam. So I'll share with you where K-2 finished off the year last year and where we want them to be at minimum by the end of 23-24. The way that we're going to really promote that learn to read well priority, as I mentioned to you earlier, is through the implementation of Hegarty Foundations and the HMH curriculum. So also in here, these are just some of the things that we're going to be attending to as we go through the school year. Real focus on data, real focus on things like in Hegarty, there are expectations that we utilize hand motions so that our kids are following along with the sounds of words and start making that that sound to letter representation and understand that in a deeper way. There'll be a focus on the foundations environment, making sure there's access to letters across our classrooms, and certainly a focus on the activities that come along with the foundations program. So there'll be aligned professional learning with those particular components, and there's really going to be a drive towards how we're making sure that our families know what it is that we're doing and how we can support them at home. Priority 2, all students are physically and emotionally safe. This is a goal that is really important to us. It's going to be reflective of the programs that we are implementing, and you'll notice that across each of our priorities, that the things that we say that we're going to implement are directly tied into the goals, so that there is a direct relationship between each of them. The focus around social emotional learning is going to be in context to the Mind Up social emotional learning program, and in particular, reducing the number of level 3, 4, and 5 infractions that occur during our classroom visits, during inside of our schools. And those 3, 4, and 5 infractions typically tend to be things around horseplay that occur during recess time in our schools. So this is going to be a big focus of ours to reduce any of those infractions as we teach our kids to really learn how to manage themselves and make responsible choices. So I kind of went through this already just around Mind Up implementation. We do look to have a family event that's connected to Mind Up as well, so that our parents are aware of what the expectations are inside of that work. Diana Stein from our team is currently working on organizing that with the Mind Up facilitators. All students have a high quality academic experience. This particular goal we linked to implementation of HMH across our grade levels with a specific focus on MTSS. Again, with the idea that we're going to grow by a minimum of 5% across our subgroups in District 25. Real big focus on explicit teaching of instruction, focus on skills and concepts that our kids need, and attention to the children also in small group learning opportunities based on whether or not they need elevation inside of their work or they need additional support. Priority 4, all students graduate college and career ready. This is something that we really attended to over the past several years, but we've also learned that while we've managed to get more children into the space where they can take the regents, we know that we still have more work to do in this area. So we're going to be really starting to attend to a lot of this professional learning, although, we will, this is something that is across grade levels, even in pre-K as we're building algebra readiness. We're going to be really focusing on grades 5 through 8, and likely even grades 4, depending on schools that are focused on departmentalization in grades 4. But it's really something that we're focused on so that we can make sure that our accelerated coursework that we're offering our kids, that our kids are ready for it. So in large part, this is going to be around planning and support for our kids. How are we using models, manipulatives to support reasoning, including the use of daily math routines. So that's going to be a big part of our work as we go in through this school year. Yeah, Louis, you can go to the next one. And priority 5, this is a goal in District 25 that that we're always looking to improve. We are fortunate that the responses that we do get from our families typically are very high in terms of favorability rate when it comes to parent satisfaction inside of our schools. In large part, you'll see a representation of 96, 97, 98% of our community pleased with what it is that we're seeing inside of our schools and relationships with our teachers and our building leaders. The one area that is a little bit on the lower side is around parent involvement and parents engaging in our schools and district community. And having said that, it is around 90%. It's currently 90% across the district. So we are going to continue to look to elevate that in a variety of things across the school year. Again,
What the hell is going on?
Up 2% as we go through the year. With the focus on really making sure that the things that we're prioritizing are supported for our families. So things like Hegarty Foundations, HMH, Mind Up, and district events like New York City Reads, and an upcoming one which you will see during our October CEC meeting that I will mention. But I will give a small little plug, which is the Happy Hollow Read. Where similar to the New York City Reads, will offer an opportunity for our kids to come together and instead of looking for those candy treats, those books will be the treat that they get to stuff in those little baggies. So we're excited about those types of opportunities as the year goes on. Yeah, those. So as part of my listening and learning tour, this will be the last part of it. These 3 very, very simple questions is: what are we doing well? What areas do we need to strengthen? And what advice do you have for me as the interim acting superintendent for District 25? You'll see on this particular slide, there are opportunities via email, opportunities via an online form for any of our families, including any of our folks that are on today that want to offer some of that feedback inside of those spaces. Things for me to be reflective on with our team as we're supporting District 25 this school year. And again, notice all of the fun little Bitmojis that we have going on.
Yeah, yeah, on that.
I know, I have a lot of hair there, right? That's what I said, it's my favorite part of the Bitmojis. I actually have a lot of hair in those things.
I'm coming there.
I'm holding on to the few strands that are left in the front of my head. It's, you know, it's been a while, but I've learned to deal with it as I've gotten older.
Good job.
Go ahead, Louis, you can keep going. I'm sure they want to see the rest of them. So what areas do we need to strengthen? And then finally, what advice do you have, you know, for me will be how we kind of round out the listening and learning tour events. You know, I do hope that that we can get the message out to our families. I would love to see them as well attended as possible. Because one of the things about us here in the district is we value and are looking forward to the feedback that we receive from the community. And more importantly than that is that we're looking to respond in a productive way because of it. So I encourage you to really engage in this listening and learning tour with me as you know, we support our next steps as a district. There's two more things that I do want to mention that are not on here that will be during our next meeting. And I know you've heard me talk about this in previous years as they've done the State of the District address. Attendance is a huge component to our work. While it's not labeled necessarily as a priority inside of the 5 that I share with you, it is a district goal that we work collectively and collaboratively on improving attendance across our schools. It is and will consistently be and have a negative impact on student performance when our kids are not in buildings. So we're going to keep focusing on that as a district. We're going to continue to do outreach to our families and support however we can possibly support to make sure our children are in schools. So that is something that will continue to be prioritized. And the last thing that I do want to mention to you is an idea that I do have that I want to kind of throw out there at you as a community now, not necessarily for an answer now, but something for you to think about in terms of something I have in mind. So I'm very interested in engaging the community in something like a district-wide podcast, where part of that podcast, the name of it would be Get on the Mic with Dr. Mike. But what I would like to do inside of that space as I begin planning and organizing around it is getting feedback from you around, one, what do you believe some topics of interest would be for our community? What type of guests would you like to have present on said platform? Are a couple of things that I would love to hear from you because I do intend to do it. The goal would also be to connect our kids in some way, shape or form to this process. So they can experience something that's a little bit different for them. So I do encourage you to give me some feedback on that. It is not necessarily a tomorrow thing, but it is a future thing that I do want to do to connect with everyone in a little bit of a different way. So, and that is the mic drop that will happen at the end of each of the sessions. Thank you, Louis.
Well, I have a few ideas for the Bitmoji for the podcast. Is this
So that is
one?
something that I want to throw out at everyone earlier on in the year. Yes, this is me in a nutshell. Every single one of those I probably have. Thank you very much.
That's it.
So yes, that is the current state of where we are goals wise. I will share the current state of performance for our district during our next meeting and its alignment to our current priorities in October, provided that that's okay. Yeah, and that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dantona. The podcast idea is a very good idea. We're all very excited. We will definitely give you topics,
Yes, I love it.
ideas. I have forgot to introduce our student member from Flushing High School, Jocelyn Chan. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her.
Hello. I'm currently a senior in Flushing High School currently. Some things I'm really passionate about is mental health. I'm currently the president of Green Change the Mind, a mental health-based club within my school where we destigmatize the stigma around mental health, where we create de-stressing and relaxation environments for students to truly be themselves. Yes.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Okay, so next on the agenda is the budget. Oh, Mr. Chow, you have a question or a comment?
I was gonna make a couple comments here,
Oh, yeah,
but it's the budget to be anyways.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll let you introduce it then.
Good evening,
Why don't you take it,
congratulations
yeah.
again.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed by the presentation. You're just as quick as the former. I just want to share a couple of things that I've noticed. I've noticed that you want to build concept in mathematics. In reality, if you build skills, kids will do a lot better. Every single kid, like trouble solving equations, can tell you what they have to do and how, but they just can't do it. Number one. Number two, the best way to prepare for high school, I'm so glad you said that. The best way to prepare for high school math is to do all in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade math. Try to get a 4 or higher on the state assessment. Putting kids in algebra 1 or whatever, when they have even a high 3, according to your number, is probably not a great idea. But I'm just gonna say that. That's it. Skills and make sure they do well in middle school. Like in high school, you don't prepare for college by taking AP classes. You're 15, 16, wake up. You do take high school courses, make sure you get over 90s. This way, when you go to college, you can do well. Anyway, should I go on to the budget? All right, I'm the treasurer. I'm actually the pseudo treasurer. There's a real treasurer. She forwarded me the information. This year, the budget did not come in $25,000. It came in, correct me if I'm wrong, the real treasurer.
You should have, the budget in your packet.
I don't, I have it.
15,000.
You need it?
I have it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
What do we do without you? Anyway,
In your folder. On the bottom?
The numbers add up?
No, on the bottom.
Oh,
Oh, yes, the last.
all right, so anyway, I still can't see this. I forgot my glasses. I was using my phone. Anyway, instead of coming in $25,000, we got an allocation of $15,976. And we divided the budget into these 3 categories. Since we can still make modifications until March of next year, we're gonna leave it as it is. As if we need to adjust, we can always adjust it. Thank you very much.
Do you wanna read? Yeah. I put $2,000 in member reimbursement because, as a holding. You want to like? I don't care.
Yeah, it's good. You don't need a.
We can hear you. You should be a teacher.
I put $2,000, my mom. I put $2,000 in member reimbursement simply because we don't, instead of dividing all of it and putting it equal amounts, we don't really use member reimbursement that much. So I put the money in there as a holding, so if I need to move it around, we still have 2,000 to move into whatever space that we need. As far as the P card, the office supplies and the meeting expenses, then I divided the rest into those spaces, so that if you have an event or if you have, want to buy anything, we have, should be more than enough to cover those expenses, and if not, like I said, you can always move it around or take it from member reimbursement and add it into the line. So that was the thinking behind how, so it's $2,000 in member reimbursement, $4,500 in purchase in the P card, which is the credit card that we use, but I cannot use all at once, it's like $100 limit per swipe. And office supplies was $4,738, and meeting expenses the same amount, $4,738. For the total of $15,976.
Thank you, Carly. Of course, if, we don't spend all that money in a certain line item, those money can be used elsewhere or towards future events. So now we need to vote on the budget. Yes.
When you,
Yes, on the budget,
okay.
confirm.
Yes.
Frank Chow,
Yes.
Joseph Chow,
Approve.
Sung Lee, Alvin Khan,
Approve.
Eden Rubenstein,
She,
Approved.
yes. Robert Lazore,
In favor.
thank you.
I thought that only members.
No, you have to have 7 here.
We do have 7.
And then she can go. She, if you weren't here, then she would be.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, the next item is the school liaison list. We finally, were able to distribute all the schools to the members. I know last month in August, Mr. Chow was not here, but he had agreed to choose the remaining, pick from the remaining schools that were not. Yeah, so I'm going to read off the list. And if there's any objections or changes, okay, please feel free to interrupt or say, let me know. So beginning with PS 20 is Frank Chow. PS 21 is Shirley Lee. I will take PS 22. Joseph Chow, PS 24. I will take IS 25. Joseph Chow, PS 29. Frank Chow, PS 32. Eden Rubenstein, PS 79. Joseph Chow, 107. He will also take PS 120. Rob takes PS 129. Is it Rob or Bob?
Bob.
I will take 130, PS 130. PS 154 will be Bob.
We can't hear you guys. Can you just make sure the microphone didn't mute?
Thanks, Louis.
No problem.
Yeah.
Carly, it might be the actual microphone. Remember the blue light?
I know,
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
PS 201 Eden Rubenstein, PS 209 Eden again, PS 214 Kiram, PS 219 Alvin, IS 237 Frank Chow, PS 242 Eden, PS 244 Joseph Chow, IS 250 Alvin Tong, MS 294 Shirley Lee, PS 165 Bob, PS.
Are we missing the?
Yeah, over there.
sorry, maybe I didn't.
Oh, so,
Look,
Oh.
okay, so. PS 165 is Bob, PS 169 is Shirley, PS 184 Kiram, MS 379 Bob, PSMS 499 Eden, and the pre-K centers is Kiram. Okay,
Yeah, Joe was circulating emails, so we all have an email.
yeah,
Now, when, is it okay if we like interchange between us, if it's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
mutual
yes.
understanding that, hey,
sure,
Yep.
sure. Just let Carly know, okay, because she will be reaching out to the schools. And also let her know your schedule, when you're free to visit these schools. So let's say, typically you have Friday afternoon or Friday morning free. Let her know so she can coordinate for you.
when, Carly, when are we expected to
So-
the visit?
So what I've been doing is I already asked the parent coordinators for the PT and SLT schedule. And I was waiting for you guys to decide what schools you're gonna pick so that I can, as you can see, some of you already have given some, as the schools have been giving me the schedule, I've been giving them to you. Some of them still haven't had their dates, done, people forward them to me, and then we can coordinate that way. But if you're gonna interchange, I need to know that I can fix the, so I can see the chart.
So
Yeah.
we just do this in private and then let her know.
I think you should, just be able to go.
Put it
Because
down.
So as far as I'm concerned, this is what you guys are gonna do, then I'm gonna be sending out an email. If I don't know that, then it's gonna be like, I'm introducing the wrong person. You know what I mean?
Please hold it off for like a couple of days, maybe. Please.
It's up to you, guys. I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense to me.
Just make sure. So anyway, I feel that, I'm sorry I messed up the first time. I didn't realize that we were doing it that way. Because we didn't do it that way the year before. I should know under the new leadership, it would be different, but I didn't. At any rate, I thought with my background, I'd be better off going to the middle schools and try to work with the middle school principals. At least in terms of math, if not anything else. That's why maybe 185, 194. 189 maybe, it's a middle school, right? So anyway, I'll work with the individuals, I'll let you know. Thank you.
You're not limited to just specifically. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
You're wrong.
You're not limited, to my knowledge, you're not limited specifically, just because you're in PS 20, doesn't mean that it's just you can go to PS 20.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Me.
So yeah, you could go with another member.
Just to divide and conquer the school
Yeah.
visits, right?
So let's-
So I can go as a member of CEC.
Yes,
Do whatever you want.
yes.
Okay,
Pop up to
we're
something.
done.
Something,
Yeah,
have to
you-
reach out to the
Okay.
school.
You have
Yeah,
to
you
let
have to
Carly
ask.
know.
Yeah, but, yeah,
It's easier this way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I'm
So let's
partnering up
say-
with a few other CEC members,
Okay,
you know, so I want to
Right,
go.
Chuck has different-
no, he has.
Yeah, we know his name.
hometown.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
He's a double agent.
Alright. Okay.
All right, so if someone is going to a particular school and you want to go to visit that school also, you know, it doesn't have to be just one person going,
Let's say
two
I'm
or three,
available, I'm sorry, I'm available during the day, I wanna go, the principals come.
but you have to let Carly know.
I know.
You can't just show up at, you know, at the,
Okay, for example, if I want to visit the school he's assigned to,
yeah,
I don't necessarily have to go with him, right?
No, you have to
You
come.
have to go with him.
Oh, that makes it a lot more difficult.
No.
Yes, because I can go during the day, you can't, you have to go to work.
The bottom line is you have to let the school know that you're gonna go. That's really the important
Okay.
part.
Alright.
But,
So for you, I'll.
Alvin has a
but
question.
I believe,
Well, I was given 2 pages of the schools that I've chosen. And they're basically the PTA meetings starting next week. If any of the CEC members would like to, come, to these meetings, I would gladly, invite you to join me. Because I am assuming that I'm the only CEC member that have chosen these 2 schools. Both of these dates fall next week and they're at nighttime. So I probably will get in contact with Carly, and if any CEC member would like to join me, just give Carly a notification and put your name down with me, and we can visit the school during their PTA meeting. That's a way of, introducing to the parents of those schools.
how about we just send that email to us, all of it, with, attachment with this, and whoever wants to attend, please let me know, then they will write it down, everything, so it's on the record.
So do you wanna go? Or agree on the?
Did you say send everybody's name?
No, I'm saying, let's say you wanna attend all the junior high schools, then you basically reply to the email to Carly that I want to attend
Okay, okay,
185, 189, so that she's aware that you're going that school with
thank you.
whoever appointed, so that she can mention your name as well.
We can say
Thank
that
you, Shirley.
the list, already have the CEC members as the primary representative, and then if we are to add another CEC member, they would just be like a secondary or a tertiary.
Yeah.
But they
Thank you,
have to
Alex.
be
Notified
notified, yes,
to
that's
Carly,
why.
yes.
So they, they're working with the here.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Alvin and Shirley, for your input. So at this time,
We can vote Carly.
Yes,
Did that, input? Yeah.
okay, so at this time, we can vote on the school liaison list.
Ready?
Yeah.
Win Yu,
Approve,
Karoon Rashid,
Approve.
Frank Chow,
Approve.
Joseph Chow,
Approve.
Sung Young Lee,
Approve.
Alvin Hung,
Approve.
Eda Lewison,
Approve.
and Robert Resort.
In favor.
Okay.
okay, new business. So we have two elected members that have not attended any of our meetings. Our first meeting was on July 2nd. Our second meeting was August 12th, and this is the third meeting. And the two elected members have not been present. So Carly in August has sent a letter out to these two members. It's a notice of intent to vacate their seats. Okay, so as today being the third meeting that these two elected members have missed, these two, so we're not, yeah, the two seats are, we can vote to vacate the two seats, and accept new applications to fill the vacancy. I have sent you this morning on a draft of the resolution. It's okay.
It's okay.
Does the board want to vote on the resolution tonight, or?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
so then
Can I ask you a question? Like, did we make, reasonable divorce, like, make no faults or?
yeah,
So, usually when someone, a member, it doesn't come to 3 consecutive meetings, that causes a reason to say, hey, you still want to be involved, especially if they haven't been asking emails and when text messages or phone calls, which was the case. Initially I reached out to Epic to see if I had the right phone number, it was the right one, I reached out to Kate. And then I sent certified mail telling them that it didn't come to this meeting, that we would be having this discussion, and Faith was also notified, so we got one, female, she says she's overseas, she's in the military, and she physically cannot be here, so she definitely, resigned. And then Lauren Hooks, she said she didn't want to be a part of it, so we have 2 vacancies.
also, just to let everyone know, Lauren Hooks was the D75 members. D75 is the district specifically for the special needs education children, okay? So, I know some of our members here may have a child that is part of D75. That member can take that D75 seat so that the 2 vacancies can be open to the district. So that we're not specifically looking or seeking, D75 applicants, okay? So I'm going to read the resolution, okay? Community Education Council 25 resolution to declare a seat vacant. Whereas New York State Education Law Article 52-A, Section 2590 provides that a member of a community district education council who refuses or neglects to attend 3 consecutive meetings of such council of which he or she is duly notified without rendering in writing a good and valid excuse, therefore vacates his or her office by refusal to serve. And whereas the law further provides that after the 3rd unexcused absence, the community council shall declare a vacancy to the chancellor. And whereas Lauren Hooks and Ying Hui Mao have have without inviting a good and valid excuse, missed 3 consecutive meetings as follows. Wednesday, July 12th, 2023, August 2nd, 2023, and tonight's meeting, September 13th, 2023. Therefore, be it resolved that Community Education Council 25 hereby declares to the Chancellor that 2 vacancies exist on the council. So now, in order to adopt this, we will have to all vote. So that we can announce announce 2 new vacancies and accept applicants and start reviewing applications in October. Okay, so Carly, does everyone want to vote on it tonight?
Yes.
Okay, so Carly,
When you,
approve.
Rashid,
Yes.
Frank Chow, Joseph Chow, Sonia Lee, Alvin Hung,
Yes.
Eden Rubenstein,
Yes.
Robert Lazar.
Yes.
By a vote of 8 of 8, the resolution is duly adopted by Community Education Council 25 on September 13, 2023. Okay. Thank you so much to all the members.
The process to hire is to give people in that.
So now, Carl,
I'll have to use some of your salary to hire.
Carly she had prepared this public announcement and she will post it,
Oh,
okay, notifying the,
I'm already done.
oh, yes. So, application will be sent and vetted out by FACE. And FACE will let us know and will give us we will review the applications.
Yeah.
And then we will interview them. As of yesterday, I know there is 1 application. If there's a new one, I don't know about. Okay, so in October, for our October meeting, if we have time, if our agenda is not too dense, if we don't have too much on our agenda, we can invite the applicants to come to our CEC meeting where we will interview them. Okay,
Or if not, you can always.
or we can hold a special meeting specifically to interview these applicants. Okay,
and will they send us, since we have 2 vacancies, only 2 candidates or more than?
Once I just posted it, and she just announced it, so as the word gets out and other people apply, and they have to get vetted. If they're able to apply, they'll let us know that, hey, you have this candidate, or how many candidates that we have that can be interviewed. So it doesn't have to be just the 2, it's whoever vetted.
Thank you.
okay. So Carly and FACE will let us know, as application comes in, they will, will send us the application, I think their resume, and then Carly will schedule with everyone, for the interview. Okay. All right, any other new business that anyone have? So then we will move on to public speaking. No?
That's me. Wow, wait for you to say it.
Hi. You want it?
Always. Can I go first?
Okay.
Oh, of course you can. Cause I have to go. Can I borrow that?
Yeah.
Is it long enough?
Yes.
Okay, Carly, clock me at 2 minutes. Okay, there you go. So, I wanted to come here tonight to just say thank you to the council for all you have done in terms of us working together in the best interest of children. Some of you, we have worked together for many years, and some of you, we have just started the journey. I will say, for those of you who have known me as your superintendent for 13 years, it's also important to note that I began my career as a teacher here. And I became the educator I am today because of the schools, the leaders, and the communities that I worked in. I want to say to all of you, there is no one better to take over this district than Dr. D'Antona. I am so proud. And I keep crying every time I look at him. But I do want to leave here and say this. One of the things that I valued as a superintendent, and I know Dr. D'Antona has as well, is the collaboration with parents. And we have so much work to do together in this district. You know, I tell the story all the time. You know, I went to college with a word processor, and I feel like that wasn't so long ago, but it was. My son was asking me to help with footnotes today, and I was like, dude, you know, come on. So he's, you know, but what I want to say is there's so much more to do, and we can never stop doing this. And the one thing that I do know is we cannot do it without parents, because the learning should not stop when kids are dismissed. And I just want to say that to this community. I know Ms. Ketchum's going to echo me, and you should, you know, and I want to say we value people like Ms. Ketchum that come to every meeting and talk about parents taking a stand and asking questions. It's our job. It's what makes us work harder, right? I'm going to say to you, District 25, we got to get our attendance rates up. We are not performing as well as the rest of the city. You have to send your kids to school. Right? Like really, and I can send this now. Like this, send your kids to school. Like, but once again, we cannot do that without you. There are 6 districts performing better in attendance than we are. Why?
They're faking the numbers.
They're not faking the numbers. Stop saying that. They are not faking the numbers, and that should not be an excuse. You own your data. You own your data. We own our data, because we're not faking our numbers, and our kids need to come to school. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That is important. We cannot do that without you. We cannot do the learning without you. We cannot roll out a new curriculum. Teach our kids to read without you. We need our parents. And that's what I want to leave. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Make sure you're continuously going, not to just visit schools and principals, but to meet with parents, to talk to them, to make them advocates, to have them sign up, not just Ms. Ketchum. I mean, I love to hear you talk. You're inspirational, but I want more parents here, right? And I want more parents talking to us and asking questions. So if there is a goal for the CEC, it should be that too, right? Challenge us, question us, make us work hard. But also, how can we get parents to be part of this in ways they never have before? Okay, so I am not saying goodbye, just so you know. I am still supporting Queens North, which includes District 25. I will still speak to Dr. Mike all the time. But I'm only a phone call away from all of you, and you guys all have my number, so please feel free to reach out. You have some of the best schools, the best leaders, the best teachers. Embrace that and work together. So thank you all.
Thank you, Chief Domingo.
Can I just say something? My son
No,
was,
you're not allowed to say we faked the number.
no, my son was not feeling well, all right? To make sure that he was counted as in present, I brought him in. You should see the dirty looks I got afterwards. I had to go pick him up.
So wait,
Oh, sorry.
to clarify,
Yes.
if our children are not feeling well, they should stay.
Yeah.
Right, like we shouldn't send kids to schools that he wasn't stressed. But when they're well, they should be in school every day,
Yes,
every day,
absolutely.
right?
They wanna go.
Yes, they want to go. And you know what? We put a value on a lot of things. Don't save that $200 on a vacation when your kids miss 2 weeks of school, right? Like those are the things that happen in District 25. You know, and Dr. Mike is going to spend a lot of time talking to you about that, but it's like, our expectation is that our teachers are prepared to accept your children every day, and there is learning every day. And you all know, I was in those classrooms, Dr. Mike was in those classrooms, and now he's going to be in these classrooms. A new deputy will be in these classrooms. Those are expectations that our teachers answer to.
But in order to learn, your kids need to be there, and that's a really important thing. And other districts should not be scoring better than District 25 in anything. What are the other districts? What? I'm not gonna tell you, you can look it up. You can ask Dr. Mike, but I've already been sending him stuff every day, right? I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Why are they beating you?
Why are they beating you? So that's one of my big messages. The rest will all fall into place because we can do this. We're District 25, right? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations again. We love having you here. Please come back as often.
Well, I took it off on the third floor.
Ms.
Next
Ketchum?
step, next meeting, if you come, we'll buy pizza to respect your department.
Yeah, she's in a different role, but she'll still be in the area. She still supports District 25.
Okay.
I'm so excited. And I'm just can't hide. I know. You owe me $1 million. I prophesied this when I first heard him speak 2 school years ago. And I said, I like that guy. I like his transparency. I like how he digs into the data. Of course, the DOE, they know Venus is about the data. I've been waiting for these numbers to come out. I will be here. I wasn't planning on being here, but I will definitely be here in person in October to hear him present the way that he uniquely presents. It's not like any superintendent that I've seen across the city. Every district in Queens, one in the Bronx, Staten Island, and Brooklyn on Zoom since 2020. So I've seen it all. I started attending these meetings in 2013. Bring back the Parent Summit, put that in your notes. Bring back your Parent Summit at IS 25. That's where I started. I remember vividly, I have a photographic memory, but I worked at a high school in District 26, and I remember our bulletin board and me seeing the flyer for District 25 Parent Summit on our board. And I've been coming to these CECs ever since as a respite for me, meaning I first started coming to bring best practices back to my home district, which was School District 28. Right, I would see what you were doing at this meeting and I would say, hey, they're doing that over there. And hey, they're doing that over there. And it's funny how the mind works. I was coming here for years and I never really thought about, this is my home district. Because growing up in the 80s, we didn't have that understanding of districts and zones and all of that stuff. But I grew up in Flushing, what they call now Hillcrest. I grew up on 75th Avenue and 162nd Street. I went to PS 154. I went to junior high school 168, now QSI, and I graduated from Jamaica High School class of 1997 and Hunter College, CUNY. I want to make sure that bring back the Parent Summit. The schools that I'm always going to be focused on in your district are the lowest performing schools, the struggling schools, the schools in my community where I see disparities, racial disparities, economic disparities. So PS 200, PS 201, PS 154, I attended a SLT meeting all last year, and it was such a phenomenal blessing. As a little girl going to that school and to see an African-American female principal was life-changing, and she's doing her thing there. I always forget her name, Gathers Buford, but Gathers Bullard, but she's extraordinary. They're actually putting into practice what he talks about, like building upon what they're already doing, right? So they're not the highest performing school, but they have deep dive discussions at their SLT. So whoever has 154, you're in for a treat. I'm also curious about middle school 250, which is inside of QSI. Like they share that building, and there's a stark difference between the education at QSI and at 250. So whoever has that school, you have to really dive deep into why in the same building that there's such discrepancies. Also, when you have your special education presentation next month, I'm a parent activist. I'm not an advocate. I don't fight for parents. I empower and educate parents, but I'm also a special education ninja. Right, I'm the queen. I don't think there's anybody that could come against me when it comes to special education services. My son has an IEP, an individualized education plan. He is 1 grade ahead, so he has skipped a grade since he was in pre-K. So there's a stigma that IEPs are only for struggling students that are 3 grades behind. My son is a grade ahead.
He's about to graduate from high school at 16 and 17 years old. He got an 82 on the English Regents, which blew my mind. But before that, when he was in elementary school, a student with disability, SWD, right? A student with special needs. He got a level 4 on ELA and a level 4 in math every year, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So we have to destigmatize special education. But as a council, I'm charging you to get the pamphlet that's about Family Guide to Special Education, dive deep, do your homework, and really understand what it is. Right, because we need a District 75 liaison. District 75 is the most restrictive environment, right? There's LRE, least restrictive, and then there's the most restrictive, which means that your child, for whatever their unique disability was, could not be serviced in their community school, in their neighborhood school. So they needed to be participating in a special program, which is District 75 programs. Our families have to understand what that means. They have to understand their child's classification. They have to understand and know about inclusion programs. What schools in your district house a District 75 program? I've never heard that discussed here, no disrespect to you, but we need to have those conversations. Which schools in your district even have a program in there? And what schools are they? P811, P255 is inside of QSI. I know, I just found out. And the last thing, Carly, I work at an elementary school in District 30. And we just got a new District 75 program in our building on the 3rd floor. It is P255. And I'm always been asking, what do the numbers mean in District 75? And the P255 services 4 and 5 years old with autism. Specifically, only 4 and 5 years old, only with autism, but they feed into middle school. QSI has a 255. QSI has a next program, and they feed into Townsend Harris High School has a P255, a District 75 program, which means that parents have to understand your child's unique disability, and they may have what they used to call high functioning autism and can be on track to go to a program inside of the illustrious Townsend Harris. But if our parents are not empowered, not only are they not going to participate, but they're not going to bring their children to school. That's the missing link, right? The DOE is trying to figure out this mystery. Be honest with parents, be authentic with parents, break down why their child is a level 1 or a level 2 and really give it to them straight. And they're gonna be knocking on your door for help, for resources, for understanding, right? But you have to be very, I know he's gonna do it, transparent and honest. Honest about your teachers, honest about your leaders, honest about the communities that you serve and the programs, the specific programs you have that are gonna have their children soar. They'll be knocking down your door. Thank you.
Thank you, it's always a pleasure to have you here to speak. Okay, are there any public speaking on the Zoom? No, okay, so at this time, I will make a motion to adjourn the calendar meeting.
Okay.
Second, Shirley and Joseph Chow make second motion. We will take a 2-minute break and then come back for the business meeting. Okay, thank you.
By the way, what's going on with the borough president?
Okay.
So was that this year today, did it? That whole video was amazing.
And my oldest,
Get ready?
I was almost.
All right, are you ready to go home? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few things on the,
So much.
there's a few things that we need to discuss.
They posted this one actually shared with the chancellor and everything. Just the production of it was amazing.
And you know,
I think this must stop
Yeah.
working.
Me.
Oh, really?
Okay,
yeah.
it's 8:26 PM and I am calling the business meeting to order. Carly, please do the roll call.
Thank you.
Present.
Ramon Rashid,
Present.
Frank Chow, Joseph Chow,
President.
Sun Young Lee,
Present?
Alvin Hung,
President.
Eden Rubenstein,
Present.
Robert Ozorak,
Present.
and Jocelyn Chet. Jocelyn, you don't have to take the business part of you. I can take that. Okay.
Way to go, Jocelyn.
Okay. This still have to stay on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Okay, all right. So for October, the special need education topics. Does anyone have any suggestions or ideas? Because the representative will come and discuss the process of, how a parent seek out the service, right? But, but
Part of
then, so
your
in-
bylaws now.
In addition to that, what else do you want to ask or learn? Right?
Do you wanna add to the presentation?
Yeah.
Maybe the presenter can stress the value of an IEP. It's not just a label. Because most people think special education, oh, it's not, it's so bad. I mentioned this, I believe the 2020 Victoria Francis High School has an IEP.
Okay.
130 something.
Mhm.
Yeah, an IEP. So an IEP is, right, because the parents don't understand, oh, I don't want my child to study that. Are you kidding me? Your child needs help.
Okay.
I think if they stress the importance and the value of an IEP, instead of just telling them how to get one.
Yes.
We'll get further.
Yeah, if you just, you take the notes on any of that stuff, probably.
Like a definition, so I'm pretty sure there's a level of it, that's what Ms. Ketchum was saying, there's only kids who just consider a special need because they need to have a wheelchair or their cognitive problems, or sometimes, it's just a speech, so it's a different levels, how
Right.
severe, so
Yeah.
if there's a clear category, like something that parents could understand would be better.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, based on like just even from what Venus was saying earlier, I think also just understanding what brings it to finding that there's not a service in that school that they will need to go into that like D75 program within the district.
I have another suggestion, since the person's gonna be here, I wanna know which schools have D75 programs, cause she mentioned PS 154 has it. I just wanna know in our district, which schools provide D75 programs?
So we can definitely go through the list. Off the top of my head, we have several of them that are within our schools. They're not necessarily under our purview. They are buildings within our buildings. So
Yes,
IS-25 has a D75 program. 499 has a D75 program embedded inside of the school. So there are a number of schools inside of District 25. 209 has a D75 program in the school. So there are a significant number of buildings that do provide access to District 75. They're just not necessarily under the superintendency of District 25
I see.
in terms of supervision, so to speak, but we do have them inside of our district. We don't provide placements, we don't do anything in relationship to placement. So if a child is as part of the RIP process is deemed that a D75 program is most appropriate, then there is District 75 placement, which they will look for seats across District 75 in order to offer it. Sometimes those offerings are not even accessible inside of District 25. Sometimes, we do offer programs that are more restrictive, but not necessarily classified as D75.
I see.
We have Nest and Horizon programs in PS 165 and 219. We offer those programs inside of those buildings. But D75 themselves, they're housed inside of our schools, but not necessarily under our supervision. But the one thing I will say for parents that's extremely important just in regards to the IEP process is the parents understanding that their role inside of that process. It is not a role where it becomes yes, okay, because someone else put it down on paper. It's how do I ask those questions? What questions do I want to ask of the school committee so that children that are receiving an IEP are getting what they need as per conversation with the parent, because the parent has to agree to what's in that IEP. They don't just sign because an IEP is there. As a parent, my daughter had an IEP in elementary school. Fortunate enough that when she went into middle school, they were able to remove those services for her. But part of that was me being embedded in the process. If I wasn't part of the process, engaging in those conversations, then you know what, the services that were rendered maybe perhaps weren't going to be what she needed. So it's extremely important that our families understand their role, and that's in large part what was shared last year, and it's an important part for parents to hear that they are their child's advocate when it comes to the supports and services that they receive. But sometimes it's not always the case because there's just a misunderstanding as to what their role is. So it's just a really important part of this work.
That's my home, and I'm not part of the conversation, but I am a mom of an student, and it's like Dr. Mike, I had my hope in special ed most of his life until this year, and he finally was able to get out. But the struggle that nobody talks about is the doctors and the therapists outside of the schools are horrific to go through because it's so hard to find a doctor.
Yeah.
It's very much pressuring, like, hey, where's the medication? Hey, where's the therapy? And you have this long waiting list. I don't know if that's something that can be part of the discussion, but I know that I'm not going to break up into that. Something to think about.
Yeah, I think also if we can invite maybe a few parents to share their experience. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a few of us on the CEC individually that are gone through this process at this point.
Yeah, so if you guys feel free and want to share your experience with the public, that would be helpful. Next.
The other thing, Wendy, the other thing that I was thinking about, I know that it was mentioned like the Nest and the Horizon programs that we do have in our district. Honestly, until somebody outside of the district mentioned it to me, I didn't even know what those were. So I ended up doing my own research to find out what it was. It wasn't like I even knew about that through the IEP process. I had to find out outside basically. So I don't know if we can kind of get more information delving into that specifically as well.
So all the programs available, right?
So the programs that are accessible, and I agree, Eden, that it's important that families know, you know, what it is that is, I don't know what that echo is coming from.
Yeah.
You know, what it is that's available from a space of the least restrictive of having sets, services, to spaces of becoming more restrictive in the form of ICT model to 12-1 model to 12-1-1 model. And then once you get beyond that space of those particular class designations, then it very well may become opportunities in other types of placements, irregardless of then particular focus areas for children that may have autism and placement that may be best supported for them. And they do have opportunities for children in that space, especially even in District 25. But all of that is dependent on a child's evaluation process and then the conversations with the team and the parent. So knowing that all of those things exist are really, really important so that a parent can advocate for their child inside of the process. As I will always come back to the importance of a parent having an idea of what it is that's available to them. And even more importantly, that they're willing to ask questions. If we just abide by everything that is shared, then we miss opportunities to perhaps give a child an even more important support for them. Because it also goes beyond that too. There, you know, speech services, OT, PT services that children receive just based on their identified needs from their evaluation that they've gotten. So all of those are coupled with the parent knowing what they should be asking for inside of that process, which is kind of what was reviewed again last year too.
Is there any way, I totally agree and I understand it, but is there any, because parents have to first aware that there are these programs and there's District 75D 75 placed within our school, our district schools. Once they're aware, then they'll be interested, then they're gonna be open to process everything. So I think it's really important for us to kind of give information to our parents so that they will be interested and they're also, and we could help them with the process as well.
So let me just say one quick thing. Those particular programs are not necessarily based on interest. It's based on whether or not a child needs those particular services. And those services range in based on child need. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not just that we have D75, I'd like my child to go to it. It's, you know, it's that my child has that specific need and those schools can offer it. There also becomes the accessibility to said programs when a child does need it, isn't also the other part of it in terms of ensuring placement. It doesn't mean because we have those schools and those settings inside of our district schools that there's always going to be a place inside of them seat wise, which is why they have so many of them across the city to offer children that do need those services. So it's always incumbent upon our families to know what those programs are. I completely agree with that, but also that their disabilities align with those needs. We don't want to put a child in a more restrictive setting if they are going to be able to function quite well in a less restrictive one.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Cantona. So we look forward to the presentation in October. Our new face representative is K6. I know she tried to set up a meeting with us, a virtual meeting. I think every time she, requests a meeting, it was very short notice. And so she have asked for us to come up with a date and time. Probably it's, during the weekdays between 9 to 4. And it's going to be a quick meeting, about 30 minutes.
During the day?
During the day.
Can you do it in the evening?
I doubt it, yeah. Yeah. So.
As you realize, it's the volunteer job.
It's,
I'm retired.
she
You find that
just
out.
wants to, I think, meet the members and let us know, how to reach out to her if you have any questions. So we
I'm
could,
okay either way.
I mean, we could agree on a date and time now, whether or not you decide to come to the meeting, that's a different,
Mandatory.
yeah, it's not mandatory.
I'm okay, I'm just saying.
I understand. Is everyone comfortable?
Is that meeting something that we're trying to schedule in person or remote?
No,
or-
it's gonna be virtual.
Okay,
Monday, Tuesday is better for me.
Monday, Tuesday, what time? Let's just start with that.
I'm retired anytime. As long as
Okay.
it's not, it's after 8:30, before 1:15.
Oh my-
Well, when do you take your nap?
Oh my God.
there went that anytime, Joe.
Oh, come on.
So-
That's not my fault, it's English. I'm
So-
okay with everything but.
Okay, so Tuesday, September 19th.
Okay,
Can everyone look at their calendar?
Yep. that looks good.
Okay,
What time?
what time? 11 or noon? Your lunchtime?
Lunchtime is
Lunchtime, what's your lunchtime?
Lunchtime's better if we're gonna do it that day.
12 to 2, wow, that's a long lunch.
You don't
It's a
see
3 martini lunch. He's a banker.
Eden,
If I'm in European mode,
I could do Tuesday at like 12, it's fine.
at 12,
Can
okay.
you give an alternative time? I have to go with her. I have to make sure that that's time won't work.
I guess anytime between 12 and 2.
Okay. Okay. I will email her tomorrow.
So is everyone is okay with Tuesday, the 19th?
Yes.
Alvin,
Sure.
yeah,
I'm not with that.
no, okay,
Wednesday, not Tuesday.
not Tuesday. When, but
Wednesday's one.
Wednesday is fine, Wednesday the 20th,
Well,
I
Tuesday.
think. Oh, hold on. I don't think I could do Wednesday,
Well, the week after.
actually. Yeah, the week, okay, week after. Wednesday the 27th. Yeah. Joe,
Yes.
you're not available on Wednesday?
What time?
Wednesday the 27th at noon? Okay,
I will just skip lunch, eat lunch later for her. even though it's a volunteer job.
9/27. Like,
It's better Monday, Tuesday.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
you can do
so
anything.
he's retired,
Yeah.
can do anytime you want.
Except the time I go pick up the kids. Man.
Oh,
I don't want to.
I could do
Yeah, I
27.
you could do 27 at noon.
Calvin, how about you?
So that's okay.
Bob?
You said which date now?
The
27?
27th.
Okay, I start putting in.
It's not next week, the week after.
Sorry, I just started putting it in. Sure, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
So I'll request the
Oh.
27th, 12th.
yeah,
Okay,
okay,
The link will come from her.
okay, great.
it'll be a Zoom meeting. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
mhm,
piece of
it'll be
cake.
virtual, yep. It's not gonna be a long meeting.
I met with her with 15 minutes.
Yeah, I met with her yesterday, it was like about 30 minutes. Okay. All right, last thing is, want to remind members what the best form of communication with you is through emails, right? I mean,
Email is good, I would suggest.
Cause I noticed that, I know that between me and Carly, we probably, send, 2-3 emails per day.
And it's
I know
free.
you, I know, so,
Well, just to that end, I mean, yeah, I think if there's a specific question we need to answer, then yeah, that works for me. There's just sometimes I'm
I know.
not sure to respond to all the banter that's
Yeah.
going
Right,
on. I just,
But even. the
I
specific
see it, but,
questions Aren't getting answered, that's the issue that I'm having.
well, I'm sorry, what do you
I
need?
said even the specific questions aren't being answered by the whole group.
yeah,
So it's just like, I'm coming to the meeting and I really don't know what's happening. Like, I didn't know you were coming, I didn't know you were coming, and I was asking, and, but that changes what we go
Well,
on,
I
that changes our
answered
agenda.
yesterday that I'm
I didn't see it either.
Yeah.
I'm
So it's
sorry,
kind of-
I assume that I'm coming every time. If I can't come, I'll let you know.
Yeah, but I have to know if you're coming online or you're coming here, like I said, it changes the agenda, but you can't even vote for it. So,
Well, I think that we're all on notice. We need to respond to these things. Yeah,
let's communicate a little.
yeah,
yeah.
Look better with each other.
okay,
Thank you,
all
Carla.
right.
Sorry, it's better if you text me, but the email is.
I definitely text.
You've been doing a phenomenal job.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
We gave her a raise last year.
Yeah. Give her Karan's salary again.
That was the two things.
Who's making that salary work, huh?
No, there's no
So I
deadline.
think it's November. So that they have until November deadline is, but if we have enough applicants before then, if you get one or two applicants before then, you can definitely interview people before that next October.
We can do a special meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the special meeting would be a virtual meeting. We would not have to come in here, but of course, it's, it takes up your personal time, right? So, okay,
Well, it's important because the person's gonna be with us.
yeah,
Can I just say to you, I'm coming to the meeting unless, I'll let you know.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
all right. Any new business? Any questions?
I
So we
just
adjourn the
want-
meeting?
Okay, Mr. Ken, yeah.
So I just wanna know, like, I still want to know when we are going to visit the schools. What are our boundaries, what we should be careful, respectful of, what we will be
great
observing.
question.
Because I'm very new, right? So I want to make sure that.
Just make
I'm-
sure you
I'm
know,
doing-
after your visit, he doesn't get phone calls.
So listen, I think, the nice part about our principals is that you let them know they're gonna welcome you in. A lot of the context of those visits should really be around how can we be of support as a CEC for you? Is there anything that you need? At some point this year, you'll be talking about capital projects again. I know that they were supposed to come and talk to you about that today. But ask, is there anything that's pressing inside of your building that we can be helpful with as a CEC? Anything that you need us to know about your building that, is really exciting that you'd like me to celebrate? So that type of stuff is really a nice entryway into building that relationship in the schools that you visit. So it's not a space where you're going in with demands or anything along those lines. We're there as a support, as a community council. I'm not gonna certainly, but that would be something that I would recommend. You're going there as intentionally to support the building and the community in whatever way that we could. And I think if you kind of keep it in that respect, then, you know, that's how it would be supportive for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you will be
absolutely.
yourself to the other parent teachers in that school. And also you want to kind of plug CEC so that next 2 years, they could also, know what CEC is about and maybe run for CEC. So,
Right. So some of you already gotten the PTA/SLT dates, as I said, some of the schools haven't, I haven't gotten all of them. So as I get them, I'll definitely share with you, and that way you can make yourself, present yourself to.
And I think the more that especially to Esther's point, the more that you're able to communicate to families because you'll often hear, so tell me what a CEC really does, you know, what is it? You'll hear that a lot. In fact, some of you may have even had that question when you were even, you know, signing up for to participate as a volunteer role, you know, so what is it that we really do? The more that you can get out there into the community, the more that they understand that you can assist. And there are so many things that the CEC over the years has done that it's really been supportive of district initiatives, we have buildings that are going up and additions that are being made because of the conversations that this body has had with, you know, the powers that be, whether it be through SEA or engaging in that capital project work, you know, auditoriums redone, refacing of schools, roof, all of those things happen because of the actions that this body takes. So it's about how do we connect with buildings to make sure that we're there to support however we could. You know, it's a great relationship building entry. And then as time goes on, you learn more and more about the school. Yeah.
I just had a question. Is there an impact, or are we concerned or thinking about the refugee crisis that we have going on in the city? Does that impact us? Are we doing anything, or no impact?
Kids are going to be enrolled every day the way that they would regardless of status. You know, whether the actual impact in terms of numbers is very difficult to measure because we can't really, it's not something we don't ask any individual person, are you coming in with a specific status? They'll receive the services just like any other child in the district, and we'll support them accordingly. All of our schools will still have the ability to support any child in our district with, if it's a language service, then we provide the language service. If it's things outside of that, then we'll provide them with those services too. But right now, it's not necessarily quantifiably impactful in any way right now for us to kind of really talk about. So, you know, one of the things that Danielle would always say, and I echo, her sentiment is, you know, you look at our district, you know, at some point or another, someone likely has immigrated to this space that we support.
Everyone has.
You know, so, that's just the way that our mindset here is, that we kind of pull in every child and support every one of them that we have, irregardless of that status. So that's kind of like the general language that we would kind of use. And, if there's anything else that we would need, I'm sure that, it'll make its way to CEC at some point if necessary, but that's not really the way that we're looking at it. Yeah. Business as usual.
Great.
And by the way, I have one more concern. Can we get a timer for public speaking?
Or gong?
Yeah.
You want a gong?
No, or you can get a.
We've tried that.
Carly, you can open it on the computer. There's a little timer on the computer.
Well, as you know, some people don't abide.
That Domingo spoke too long.
It's still here.
Right, guys, we done?
Yes,
Go
yes.
home?
So at this time, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn the business meeting? Okay. So, motion to adjourn in second.
So guys, I really appreciate being
you,
here with you
everyone.
today, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
So excited.
Thanks, Dr. Mike.
I heard so many good things about you, so. Let's
Thanks,
keep
Louis.
all the good things.
Yes.
Thank you, Lou.
Have a good night, guys. I'll see you next month.
You guys, next time.
See you in October.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thanks so